Instead of worrying about my insurance, I can worry about the big game.
Contact the Seiler Agency at 476-7443 for all of your insurance needs. Your independent agent for home, auto, boat, RV, commercial, general liability, life, and sound investment strategies. Call 476-7443 today.
Welcome back going into the Coach's Corner. Coach Tripp, Coach Tanner, Chase Northcutt. We got a guest into the studio today. We've been talking about walk-ons this show, and we got a good friend of ours from Autrey Goal Line, who's done a great job of providing the field paint. There's a lot more that goes into just the game that goes on the field, and you got guys like Red Autrey here, and his father's a good man. I enjoy spending time with them. But they talking about guys that just dominate, and providing that service of selling field paint, accessories, stencils, all that. And what's good is we got him in studio also because we're talking about walk-ons. And Rhett here came out of Jay High School. What year did you come out of Jay, Rhett?
2001.
Came out of Jay High School in 2001, and had a scholarship opportunity there with Southern Miss, but decided to go up and play at the University of Auburn.
Hey, his heart was up with Auburn.
His heart was up with Auburn.
Auburn University.
Auburn. I'm sorry. We gotta Auburn. See, there you go, right there. You got the banner behind you.
You're represented here.
Decided to go up there and really just toughed it out. So Rhett, we're talking about, and Coach Tripoli here was a former walk-on at Alabama. So we got two walk-ons here that actually made teams with very big Division I teams, and of course he played for the Bear. And he played with some outstanding players, and of course you're playing over there now. Tell me, what's the hardest thing mentally as a walk-on to go through? You make the team, but the mentality to keep you going as a walk-on. Talk a little bit about that.
I tell you, man, I think about that a lot. But to me, a lot of them are weeded out early on. But the guys that stay there for 2 or 3 years and are still struggling for playing time, struggling to make the travel team. The worst thing in the world for me was my family. My grandfather played at Auburn, my uncles played at Auburn, and you got cousins, friends, all of them up there to see you play. They travel, they're all excited, and then you're not on the dress-out squad,
Right.
And it makes it seem like to them, well, maybe he ain't working hard enough or something, and you're going through it every day, working as hard as you can, and you want to make them happy too, and feeling like you let them down. To me, as far as an emotional standpoint, that was the hardest thing I went through, man.
Yeah, but those guys you talked about in your family all know football, and they know how important the scout team is, and they know how important that you got to have a good look, and you've got to hit those guys. So they know that you played a role in helping that team. And this wasn't just a down year for Auburn. You're talking about guys on that squad, some still playing in the NFL. Some went on and had great careers in the NFL. You got Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams, Jason Campbell on this squad. I mean, it's not like, and the offensive line was pretty darn good too.
What position did you play?
I played offensive guard.
Offensive guard.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's offensive guard. Offensive linemen have to be one of the smartest guys on the squad and one of the toughest guys on the squad.
Well, you're talking about, if you're talking about, with a scout team as well, you've got to pick up all kinds of new blocking schemes. It's easy as a receiver. Okay, we got a post route. He runs it like this. Okay, I can run it like that. But you're talking about him having to execute the proper technique and getting that right look in on what they're going to see in SEC play. I mean, you got to turn in from a zone guy. Then you got to, do some pulls, and you're doing all kinds of crazy counters. Tell me, just the mentality of you being a walk-on and not dressing out. But what drives you? What just drove you to keep just getting out there and getting after it every week?
It's different for every individual, just like you, Coach. But for me, myself, my grandfather played there. He actually played in 44, 47, 48, and 49. Well, Auburn, Alabama didn't play.
That's right.
Like from the early 1900s up until 48.
Yeah.
Well, in 48, Bama beat Auburn 55-0.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 49, his senior year, Papa, Max Autrey was his name, but they won 14-13.
Yeah.
So that's what really started the big rivalry there. But, all his sons went on to walk on there at Auburn, and I grew up in it, man. It's more of a love for the university, man. Mm-hmm. And Coach Pat Dye, who was trained by the great Bear Bryant, which I got a lot of respect for, man. Coach Dye and the program he built there when he got there in '81 was really gave me a deep love for Auburn, man. You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, as a walk-on, you go through the scout, and like you said, I didn't dress until my 3rd year.
Me too, brother.
I figured it out one day. I practiced over 200 times before I dressed for a game. So it's that perseverance that you have to have, but it's an inner drive, a love for
a passion.
University, a
Yes,
passion for the game. Because what scouts teams do, walk-ons do in college is they go up against the best team, the best of the best in the country. So you're either going to get pummeled and quit, or you're going to fight through and get better because you're going up against the best in the country.
And that reminds me, everybody loves watching Rudy. But you remember when they're sitting out there and the coach says, your biggest attribute to us is we don't care if you get hurt. And for walk-ons to have that tremendous challenge. It's not like a blue chip guy. You come in here, okay, now you're going to get reps with the first team and we're going to see how good you are. You've got to climb.
You got to climb
from the bottom of the list all the way up. Yeah. It's amazing. Tell me, Tripp, how did Coach Bryant treat his walk-ons? And you're a guy trying to.
Coach Bryant treated everybody the same.
That's awesome. I love that about him. That's what I love about him.
See, the thing about Coach Bryant was he was apolitical.
Right.
In other words, he didn't care if you were a All-American from Tuscaloosa or a Yankee walk-on like I was. He didn't care. See, the thing that separated Coach Bryant from other coaches is he could measure a kid's heart better than other coaches could.
Yeah.
Because that's an intangible that you can't subjectively put a value or a finger on it. You have to be able to read a kid's heart for gut checks and just little things that Coach Bryant could see, and he was a master motivator. He knew your psyche better than sometimes the players did. When I tell the story all the time when he brought me into his office. I mean, it was amazing. I didn't think he even knew who I was. But he called me Tripodi for a couple of years, I think. But the fact was that he knew I was there, and he saw something in me that other coaches. Obviously, I was a walk-on. If I would have got a scholarship any place, I would have taken it.
Yeah.
But he saw something in me that other coaches didn't see, and that's what made him special.
Well, Coach, I'm interested to know now. You said you was a Yankee. What made you go to Bama and walk on there?
Well,
where were you from?
Yeah, I'm from Syracuse.
He stuck out like a sore thumb in there.
From Syracuse.
Every time I opened my mouth, I stuck out.
Yeah. Hey, boy, where are you from?
Gosh, I joke around. There's 4 reasons I went to Alabama. Number one, to play for Coach Bryant, the greatest coach, and they won back-to-back titles. Number 2, I wanted to get my business degree, and they had a good business school. Number 3, I liked the weather down south better than up north. Number 4, the women were better.
Oh yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming, baby.
That always helps in recruiting. Everybody's like, "How's the South always recruit?" Take a look at that.
Not necessarily in that order is why I came down. Those are the 4 reasons I came down. Yeah, it's a special thing. How about your Auburn Tigers, man? They just keep winning. I mean, there's certain teams that win close games and others that don't know how to win. I got to hand it to Gus Malzahn.
I do too, man.
I love Gus Malzahn.
I love Gus Malzahn. What a great coach he is. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Coach Malzahn. I was actually disappointed in the hire at first because I was hoping we got y'all's Kirby Smart, is that his name? Because I think he interviewed and was high up on the list. But when I heard Bo Jackson's interview after they hired him, because I think Bo Jackson and Pat Sullivan was the ones
on the committee.
Right.
Yeah.
They interviewed him, but I see now why they hired him. But what I like about him most is he's a lot like Coach Bryant, to where he treats everybody the same, and he's still grounded with his own. He is who he is today. Is who he was back 15 years ago when he was living in that trailer. So.
And when he was a high school coach.
That's right.
He still.
I love that he's a high school coach.
I
That's
do
big.
too. He still calls himself a high school
yes, sir,
coach.
Yes, sir.
Well, what I like about it is he has brought his new innovation to the game, and you're seeing the blocking scheme. It shows hints. And remember when we had Carl Madison here? He really loved it because he's a veer guy. And you got some visions of it's tweaked a little bit, but some inside veer principle on the inside.
A veer, yeah.
And he's brought his own thing. And if you're looking at film in high school, and we watch film all the time, if you're looking at high school films, now you have a lot of high schools trying to mimic
Oh yeah.
that, and he has really set the trend, set the tone for the new football coming in. And it's not the spread that you're seeing where everybody's throwing it around. He's doing it a lot with running.
That's right. That's right.
And he's bringing the option back, and he's keeping it between the tackles, and he's putting the tempo in it. And they're daggone tough to stop.
Don't y'all run a lot of that?
We run variations off of it over at Tate. Yeah, I mean, and he's played a big part of it. I mean, you watch the games on film, you're like, wow, now I see the philosophy in that. We can get that, but I've seen plenty of schools running that. I was watching Robertsdale film the other day. They're running it. Yeah, there's a lot of teams in Alabama running that. But we're going to take a quick break, and right here on ESPN Pensacola, you're listening to the Coach's Corner, and we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Miles.